An NBA legend has just absolutely trashed the New York Knicks, as the Knicks were just accused of not being real contenders, and this is absolutely a case of anger towards what happened last year in the playoffs, and we are going to go over why the Knicks are real contenders and why they were the better team in basically every playoff series that they played, including the Pacers one, and we're going to discuss all of it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here. Before we get into the video, real quick, if you're part of that 60% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest, make sure to subscribe. We have a bunch of videos coming out that you do not want to miss out on, but let's jump into it. There's a lot to go over on the Knicks, as frankly, the New York Knicks right now, we're in a bit of a dead zone with them. They still have a contract to sign. There is still some moves that there are to be made before training camp fully begins. However, sometimes you hit those lulls, and then all of a sudden the news is that someone is out there trashing the Knicks or something along those lines, and that is exactly what recently happened. As NBA legend Bob Koozie said that in the playoffs, in my experience, the best team wins. There are upsets occasionally, but I have no understanding of how the Celtics could collapse, especially against the effing Knicks. As the Knicks proved in the next round, they were not a legitimate contender. I want to talk trash to Bob Cousy so bad, but it's something about him being a 95-year-old NBA legend that's like stopping me. I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Bob Cousy's not one of the greatest players of like the old time NBA. He was. I mean, he was in the NBA's fourth season, and he was one of the best players in the league. He was an all-star every single year. He was all NBA first team basically every year outside of his final 2 seasons in the NBA. I'm not counting the one with Cincinnati, who eventually just became the Kings. They just doesn't count. But when it comes down to it, what we've seen is a guy who is absolutely legendary and is allowed to trash whoever the hell he wants to. However, the thing is, he's wrong. He's brutally wrong, in fact, and I figured we'd just talk about it because it's fun. When we look at the Knicks and their series against the Boston Celtics, what we saw was a Knicks team that was more efficient across the board. We see a Knicks team that had Jalen Brunson, who led the entire series in points, while also shooting 45% from the field and 39% from 3, doing his thing while also putting up 7.2 assists per game. And then when you look at a guy like Karl-Anthony Towns, who played well, and Mikal Bridges, and we'll get into him, and really the only Knicks player, like their only sort of star-type player that didn't have a great series was OG Anunoby, who did play excellent defense. I mean, Deuce McBride played great. The Knicks played well against the Boston Celtics. That's what happened. It wasn't an upset. It was this team played well, and the other team, they faced the anti-Celtics, and it worked. I mean, the Celtics, Jason Tatum put up 25 points per game and 12 rebounds in the games that he was playing in. I mean, he played in the majority of those 4 games. Obviously, he got injured towards the end of a game that the Celtics were going to lose either way. I'm not trying to disparage Jason Tatum. It really sucked to watch him tear his Achilles. It's just a pit in your stomach type of feeling. Nobody deserves to get injured, especially an injury like that. And Jason Tatum will be back and better than ever, and I'm rooting for him to be so. But in this series, he wasn't very good. He shot 40% from the field. Just saying. And Jaylen Brown, he also shot 40% from the field and 29% from 3. I mean, Tatum shot well from 3. He shot 38%. But the Knicks, they played good defense on the Celtics' 2 main stars. The guy who played well was Derek White. He was, for a lot of the time, the most dangerous player on the Boston Celtics towards the Knicks. He was playing excellent defense and hitting every single 3 he took, it felt like. And then it was Peyton Pritchard, who was also just beating the Knicks up constantly as well. Guys like Drew Holiday didn't really have a ton of moments. Al Horford didn't really have a ton of moments. Luke Cornett had a few here and there. Porzingis obviously was sick. That's a whole different story there. But when it comes down to it, the Knicks didn't upset the Boston Celtics. They went out there and they played better than the Celtics, and that is not an upset whatsoever. I mean, when you look, and we're going to get out of full screen for this, when you look at the Knicks over their first 6 games versus the Boston Celtics, they outscored the Celtics, or over these 6 games, I don't know why I said the first, there was not a 7th game in this series, because, you know, didn't need it. But over those 6 games against Boston, the Knicks outscored the Celtics by 46 points in the first in the 124 minutes that Mitchell Robinson was on the floor. I keep wanting to say the first. And in the 169 minutes that Mitchell Robinson was on the bench, the Celtics outscored the Knicks by 43 points. Mitch had a plus 46 and a minus 43. That was another thing. It was the Knicks personnel was there. For a while, guys, I have said the same thing about the Knicks and everything going on with them, specifically in regards to when they would end up playing the Celtics in the playoffs, which was a collision that was always going to happen. The Knicks were built last year and are still built this way because the personnel hasn't really changed except they've gotten a better bench to be the anti-Celtics. That was the whole point of this team. You have 2 elite defensive wing/forwards in Mikal and OG Anunoby. You have Mitchell Robinson, who's a disruptor, and the Celtics really didn't have anyone on his level. I mean, Luke Kornet had a good series, don't get me wrong, and Luke had a great year in general. I'm happy for Kornet. He got his money as well with the San Antonio Spurs, and that rim protection between him and Wemby is going to be absolutely infuriating if you were watching a Knicks game against them. But when it comes down to it, the Celtics didn't have Mitchell Robinson. And the guys they did have, the Knicks were there ready to lock them up. And I know Drew Holiday was on that team, but Drew Holiday consistently has struggled against Jalen Brunson. Brunson has had a lot of good games, including a 40-burger on Drew Holiday before. And that's one of those things that we do have to consider and understand that the Knicks, they were set up to beat this team. It was the reason why they were built this way. This was not an upset. Yeah, they were the lower seed a little bit, by a few games, but it wasn't an upset per se. What it was this team that was built for one reason and one clear reason only, to beat the Boston Celtics, because they figured if we could beat the Celtics, then we could beat anyone. We were so close. Just hold the ball. Don't shoot that layup. Just don't shoot the layup. Just don't shoot the layup. It all would have been okay. We probably would have lost the Thunder in the finals anyway, in fairness, but still. That one's gonna hurt forever. That one's gonna hurt for I literally feel like Matthew McConaughey in the Interstellar movie where he's like, no! Like knocking on the door. Like no, don't go, or whatever. I honestly never saw the movie. I've seen the one meme. I think it's Matthew McConaughey. I might not even be right. But that's not the point. UT's not good at football. I shouldn't have said that. I want Arch Manning on the Jets. This is getting off the rails, guys. This is what happens in August, in the middle of August, when I'm trying to record Knicks Digest videos. There's a bit of news, I talk about it, and then ramble like it's some blog, and I really have to stop doing that. Well, here's the thing. Outside of that, we've seen Bob Cousy absolutely just be an NBA legend. He's allowed to talk, and he's allowed to be a Celtics fan, and that's great. But one of what's even better, these Knicks jerseys. The Knicks have new jerseys, and they finally did what we've been waiting for them to do forever. They are running the classic jerseys back. We have been waiting to see the Knicks use these jerseys for so long. Fans have been calling for it, and now they're releasing a modernized version of those 90s jerseys that fans absolutely love. I mean, those are awesome jerseys. I'm definitely going to be buying one, and I'm super excited that the Knicks are listening to their fans with one of the jersey concepts. The Knicks have been fairly good at listening to fans. What I will say is I want that statement jersey gone. I never liked that dark blue statement jersey. I'm just not a fan of it. I think that the color scheme is just ugly. I think if you're going to go that dark of a color, just go full black, honestly. The black and orange jerseys in that 2022 season, obviously the season sucked, but those jerseys were cool. Like that Kemba Walker number 8 jersey and that black and orange was an awesome jersey. That'd be such a great pull to have if you're going to like a party or something. But this video is absolutely insane. Guys, like this video or don't, because this is my worst video I've ever recorded on this channel. Subscribe or don't, because this was maybe the worst video I've ever put on the channel. Turn on post notifications, because they're all going to be better than this one. Have a great day. Go Knicks. It's Saturday. I wanted to have some fun.